I could talk about my resume and all these great successes, but I want to be very authentic here and talk about the things that really impacted my life, where I had some incredible failures in my life. I failed as a father, I failed as a husband, I failed as a son. And these valleys are what, made me to what I am today. But, it all happened for a purpose. And, it all comes back to Romans 8:28. All things work together for good to those who love God and call according to his purpose. But, to get into that, I had a great early success in my corporate life. I was at a company called Grid Systems that had the first laptop in the world, and I was out selling it for thousands of dollars. Ended up having a tremendous sales career at this company and became the golden child, in my early late 20s, and all these accolades coming to me, and I started to believe I was bulletproof, where everything I touched was turning to gold. And I got married at that time to just a wonderful lady. We ended up having 2 children, and I continued to prosper in my career and ended up traveling a lot, all over the world, in fact. And my priorities became skewed. I became much more interested in success and the dollars and the accolades than, taking care of, my responsibilities as a father and as a husband. And that ultimately I was going after, with my team, an initial public offering where, when that happens, everybody makes money on stock. It's a beautiful thing. But my life came crashing down. The IPO never happened. We were 24 hours away from it happening, and it exploded. At that point, I had a million miles on my airline card, and I didn't even know who my family was anymore. I had kids, both 2 young boys, 6 and 3, and ended up getting divorced. And this was it was a tragedy where my sons, they ended up 1,800 miles away in Iowa, and I was in California. I ended up traveling back and forth on airplanes, and, it was an unbelievably depressing time. And I brought it all on myself. And this is where I think the Lord was just leading me into something different. And, it just came to the point where it was clear I needed to change my life. I'd been drinking way too much. I wouldn't say an alcoholic, but it was too much. And, everything in my life was up in the air. And this is where, again, by God's grace, 4 years after that, he gave me an angel, my wife of 22 years now. Carrie came into my life, and everything changed. I could see how God was bringing me to be something new, to transform me. Now my whole focus has come down to, 3 priorities: faith and family, health and wellness, and wealth building. So this is what I spend my time on after going through this pain. And, I'm just so fortunate that I've got a great relationships with my older kids, even though I put them through such a tough time. They're both incredibly young Christian men out just kicking butt in the business world. And, I've got one in high school and another in college that are just wonderful. So regardless of what's going on in your life and, in the pits of depression, the pits of, making poor decisions based on selfish desires and self-centeredness, that God can do amazing things. And so I'm blessed and so fortunate.
What I see in your story, you let yourself transform by God. I mean, you ask the difficult questions, and now the life you're living is so much different than what you lived a long time ago. So what are your key learnings?
The key learnings from all of that is one really has to have the priorities straight. I mean, it's something that you have to spend time on and really write down, what do you want out of your life? What do you want to make happen on all those levels, with your relationships, with your family and friends, your social circles, and your spiritual life with God, with Jesus? What do you want that to look like as a priority number one? It has to be right there, and avoid the pain that can come on by not listening and being engaged with your faith and family. And of course, without that, your health and wellness is not going to be good. I mean, you get your faith and family in order, and then health and wellness. You have to take care of yourself physically to be able to be good to anybody else, right? With health, you have 1,000 wishes. Without health, you got just one. That is so very important. And then finally, I put wealth building as my third priority. I'm a businessman, I'm an entrepreneur with a specialization in real high technology and software, and that's just, a gift that God gave me to be that. And I think that's a very, very big part of giving back, to have resources to be able to be a giver. Money can do that for you. So anyway, that's my key learnings. Get your priorities straight, make sure you know where you're headed as an individual, and have faith.